The good, the bad, and the ugly. We're talking about friendships today, so let's get into that. Hey, I'm Andrea Warnock, and you've joined me for Women Power Wednesday on the Marriage by Design podcast. And this is a time where we get to talk about what the Bible says to women, for women, about women, and how we can apply that to our lives. So today, I have one of my good friends, Ellen, here with me.
Hello.
So Ellen has become a really great friend of mine, and I wanted her to join for this podcast when we talk about how to be a good friend, just the practical ways that we can be good friends to other people. Ellen is a really great friend, and I'm blessed to have several really great friends in my life, and I wanted them all to join me, but our space is too small. So Ellen's here. I'm not going to spoil it because she'll probably tell you, not to brag on herself, but she'll tell you how she's a really great friend, just in the ways to be a great friend, because she lives those out. So, Ellen, I'm going to ask you first. So let's start with the bad first. So we're talking about the good and the bad of friendships. Mm-hmm. So tell me, we've both had those people in our lives who've not been great friends, right? And what have you learned from those people as far as what a friend shouldn't look like, or things to not do as a friend?
Yeah, I think I feel like I've learned being a bad friend by me being a bad friend, and like having good friends who are like, oh my gosh, in comparison,
yeah, totally,
I suck at being a friend. But if I think of people who aren't the greatest of friends, I think it's people who I think that, like, I feel like they don't really care. Like, they don't really care. Like, you tell them something, they, like, don't remember, or they're, like, not there. I think maybe there's some, like, defining moments in friendships where it's like, I needed you there for me in that moment, and weren't or didn't want to be, or wasn't, like kind of didn't care in that sense. Other ways maybe have had not so great friendships. I've been thinking about how maybe a friend who doesn't look out for your best. Like, we were talking about, like, friendships when we were younger and how they're different and things like that. Totally. I'm thinking of my friends in high school who would let me do really not great things, or even like knowing that's not the best thing for me. Or I think of where it talks about iron sharpening iron, like friends that don't, like, will let you do things that you know aren't good for you because they don't want to, like, get in the middle of it.
They don't have the conflict with you, potentially.
Yes. And I'm like, that's just not a good friend who doesn't look out for your best interest, basically.
It's such a great point, because I'm sure a lot of those people think they're being a great friend by not inserting themselves, giving their opinion or whatever, but that's really the opposite. You're kind of watching this person walk down a path that is dangerous for them, and just saying, oh, I hope it turns out.
Yeah. Have you had bad friends?
Yeah, I have.
Have you been a bad friend?
I definitely have, yes. And I'm still a bad friend at times, for sure. So I've had friends that have brought me to tears because of their poor friendship in the past. And I've learned a lot from that. I've learned friendship has to be two-sided. So the people where you kind of come to this realization in your friendship that our friendship is really just all about this other person. Our conversations revolve around them. Yeah. All that. It's okay to have some friends that are like that, because they probably need somebody, but they're probably not going to be a very good friend of mine. So learning that, like, friendship, real good friendship, needs to be two-sided. And you and I were talking about earlier, sometimes during a friendship it may be very one-sided. If somebody's going through some really hard times, if one of the people in that friendship is going through hard times, the friendship may be totally focused on them for a period of time. And that's okay.
Totally.
And that's good. But to have a consistent friendship where it's just one-sided isn't good.
Definitely, yeah.
Friends who talk about you behind your back, that's not a good friend. I've learned from that. I've been very hurt by people that I thought were my good friends, but they were so flaky. They had no follow through. It was pretty consistently inconsistent in that they would consistently not show up or cancel or whatever.
Yeah, because the truth is, you make time for what you care about and who you care about.
That's true.
And like, as much as that hurts a little bit to say, but like a good friend makes time because they care and they know the things, or there's like a level of importance that you have in their life too.
Right. Yeah. So those are some of the things that I've learned from not good friends and doing the opposite. Yeah. So when do you feel like you started, well, we were talking earlier, you have 2 friends that you feel like you really started learning how to become a great friend from them. What are some of the things that you learned from them?
Yeah. So I can think of like, I am blessed with, I think I just hit the friend jackpot. I think I have the best friends in the whole world. Like, they're very, like, I want everyone to be friends with them because they're such great friends. And like, to know what a friend is. But like, 2 stick out to me in particular, and some of the characteristics that these women possess are, like, one of them in particular, she's very intentional. Like, we'll have a conversation, or she even likes phone conversations, which I love. Like, I'm coming from here to here, I just wanted to talk to you. And I know not everyone's like that. Like, I'm typically not like that, actually.
Like that either,
But
honestly, because I have a hard time hearing on the phone. I don't know why. It all sounds like wah, wah.
You're like,
I have
see me in person.
I really want to be in person, but phone calls are hard for me.
Yeah.
And I know of other people, don't really like them either.
Yeah, sometimes. And I think probably just her personality too, but being on the receiving end of that, to have someone just call you out of the blue, like, I just wanted to talk to you, like, there's something about that I really love, that touch point. And there'll be, from time to time, there'll be people like, I just want to hear them or see how they're doing or whatever. And I think that takes a certain friendship to do that too, totally. Of, I can just pop in, we could have nothing to say and it's okay. And then, all right, just thinking about you, see you later type of thing. But just very intentional. And then if we were to have a conversation of just like, this is what's going on in my life, update, blah, blah, blah. The intentionality, a text later of like, hey, how did this and this go that you heard me say the other day, or something like that. And it's like, oh, I feel like you're caring because you're listening and you're being attentive. And I really feel like in a lot of relationships, I think this could like go across the board in marriage and business relationships and friendships and a lot of things, but just really like being attentive and present and like shows that you care and they mean something to you, like when you're giving attention with kids too. Like, I'm thinking all of those things. So I think for like good friends that I have, like, they're listening, they're attentive, and I feel like they care by the questions that they ask and just checking in, basically, like not being a stranger. I think is like keeping that connection is big for me. And I think another one that I'm thinking of is I mean, that really just is based around that for me, and that might just be how my like love language or how I feel loved is people like seeking me out or pursuing me or making me feel like I matter, and that could be a thing. And
you are amazing with that. I mean, like, next level with remembering things people say and caring about those things and bringing them up and asking questions. And I don't know how you do it sometimes. Even just remembering likes and dislikes that are like minute little things. Or somebody maybe said, you were telling me earlier tonight, your sister's birthday's coming up, and she had said something that she, like, offhanded comment, something that she wanted, and you were going to go try to find it. That kind of thing. I mean, Ellen is really amazing at that, and I've learned a lot from you and trying to be that way too. Although I don't think I'm ever going to reach her level. I don't think I have the brain for that.
I think that I probably learned it from someone else. So that's the only reason that maybe I'm good at it is someone else did it for me too. But yeah, being intentional to remember, I think is important and shows that you care.
That's
you
great.
know?
Yeah. And then, sorry, there was something else you were
I was going to say, I'm thinking my other friend that I think is, like, I would consider a really good friend is they face hard things. Like, if I'm going through a hard thing or they have an issue, like I'm thinking of they have an issue with their family, it's like they feel free to voice it of, like, this is what's going on. I feel free to voice it of, this is just how I feel, or this is what's going on. And it's received with, like, either encouragement or understanding or, like, just even an acknowledgement, like, because there's a lot of times I don't know what to say. Like, I want to be a good friend, but I have no words right now.
Sure.
But even there's a response in that of, I don't know what to say, but I love you. Like, here's some, like, I'm here at least, like, at the very least, you can do that and then, like, check in type of thing. But I think this person, whenever something comes up, there's always a response. And I think she's just really good at words. But I always feel like, wow, you thought about that, you know me because of how you responded, and that meant a lot for me. And you, like, faced it. I think facing hard things in friendship is such a huge thing, and that's where the rubber kind of meets the road of, like, and where your friendships can, like, really come to a head of either we're going to have a conflict or I'm going through a hard thing and I need you. Yeah. Are you going to be there? Or are you going to shrink back and be afraid and not be uncomfortable? Because it is so uncomfortable, but I think true friends are the ones that you can be very uncomfortable with, or you can mess up and there's still grace to move on of, like, hey, I didn't feel like you were there for me and this is how it made me feel. And then it's like, not my intention at all. Yeah. Forgive me. I'm learning you. You're learning me. That type of thing. You know what I mean?
I think that's right. And I think adult friendships are the ones where you have that depth when you've been through some hard stuff together. Yeah. You know, and you maybe lack the depth if one of the two of you hasn't been through hard things and you've walked some of that together. And adult friendships are such a different universe than, like, the high school and maybe college friendships that we had too. So I'm in my later 30s. Yikes. I'm not 40 yet, but I'm past 30. No, I'm 36. And I feel like it wasn't until the last 5 years maybe that I've started to understand that adult friendships are not going to be like high school friendships. They're a different thing completely.
It takes a little more effort.
It does take more effort and more intentionality, and there's a lot of greater things that come out of them too. Yeah. But yeah, you know, in high school, you're all doing the same life together. You're together 5 days a week most of the time for many hours a day. You're living the same lives, kind of. And you just kind of naturally, click with somebody. And you just get to go do things together. And as an adult, you have to choose to be intentional. Yeah. And choose to, kind of going back to what you said, embrace the uncomfortable at times. Like, gosh, trying to form this relationship is uncomfortable sometimes, but just choosing to continue doing that.
Yeah, like making a decision of this is worth it, because you really, and I think probably our two personalities too, I think we're fairly independent and we're kind of fine by ourselves, honestly. Like we can live whatever, but I think being a good friend is like seeking those out even when maybe you're not the seemingly like it benefits you too. Yeah. I feel like there's like a sacrificial thing in that. Not that it's like a pity relationship, but it's like even when I don't feel like it, being a good friend is, I know that they would want to be with me, I would want to be with them, and so like
that is such a great point. Yeah. Like I may feel more comfortable staying at home in my pajamas instead of pursuing this new friendship that I don't feel like I really need. Yeah. But I do, because this is what we're called to do in life is do life together. And what could it be a year from now?
Yeah.
And I know God's called me into it, so, you know.
Yeah. And when you really, it's like, oh, I don't need a friend right now, maybe, when I feel like being in my pajamas and watching movies and eating ice cream by myself. But the time will come when you do need good friends, and those don't happen overnight. They happen from the times, I think, often when you don't feel like it sometimes, and you could rather be by yourself, but you're choosing to engage and be around people and be in community and build relationships that when that time comes that you do need someone, it's like you have a bucket to choose from, essentially, because you've done the work to be a good, faithful friend throughout and say yes and commit and all of those things.
Yeah, I don't know that friendships are really formed during hard times. You know, I don't know that. Yes, there may be people that come around you that help you through that, but I don't know that you're really forming a friendship at that point.
Like initiate a friendship, you're saying. Okay.
You might end up later, after the hard time, having a friendship that develops, but I don't know that really that having somebody in your life during a really hard time that you're actually forming much of a friendship. I think it's a lot more of like
trying to get through it.
Somebody who's helping you get through it and you're accepting their help. Kind of thing. So and most people don't want to get onto a sinking ship. You know, most people, if you're in a bad place in life, and I mean that whether you're going through trials, which people just do, or you're just somebody who's kind of a mess. Sorry, I was in that place at a point in my life, and I didn't have any friends. People don't want to get on that sinking ship. That's not fun. But for the people who have invested in friendships prior to that, and then your ship is sinking, you know, you're really struggling, those great friends stay on because they love you and they want to help you through and help, and that's an amazing part of going deeper in a relationship then too. Yeah.
And I think that we were talking earlier about the uncomfortable too, like there's a vulnerability, I think, that's important in friendships that kind of has to happen too. Or if we're gonna have a friendship that's gonna go a little deeper than, you know, we just say hi and bye at church on Sunday. There's this like level of, I can show you my true self and you're not gonna run away. I can confess this thing and you're not gonna like encourage me in the wrong way or something like that. I think in godly friendships too, like having someone there. Like one of my good friends, it's like, this is how the conversation goes. I know this isn't true, but this is how I feel. Remind me of what's true, please. Like, everyone needs a friend in their life like that. And if you don't have one, get one or pray for one or something like that. But there's so many times, I think, maybe even just, especially as women, where our emotions are here and we cannot see anything else up to our eyeballs in emotions, and that's the only thing that's real right now. You know things are true, but what you feel is more true. And having a friend pull you out of that pit is so vital in life. And I've had many of times where it's like, this is how I feel, and someone with a fitting word just to remind me of like, okay, just to get the like something everything out of my face.
Reminds you of something that you already know, but you need it.
Yes, like you need to borrow their faith for a moment, and it works. Like there's something in it that
there is a lot of power.
Needing someone to give you perspective, I think that's a huge thing. And then that vulnerability to be able to be the real you and not be afraid of being rejected, because that's probably the biggest thing. I think that's a big thing with friends is like this belonging. I can be real. Friendships are easier when you don't feel like you have to impress or be someone else. I think those are, if we go back to not good friends, like friends where you always feel like you have to be on or you have to be someone. Like I have some of those too, you know, and it's exhausting, and you don't want to hang out because you don't feel like you can be yourself and you have to impress or something.
They're
like
probably just not your close circle of friends. You know, they're a little bit more further out.
Yeah.
So if you could list, what would you say would be like a list? Maybe we'll go back and forth, or give a few, and I can give a few of how to be a good friend. What are some ways that people can be a good friend? I mean, and we've talked about some of them.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. To go off of what we were talking about earlier. Yeah. Maybe we'll go back and forth. I think intentionality is huge.
Yep.
I think, yeah, and it flat out takes effort. You know, you have to be attentive and be intentional.
Yeah.
Intentional, I think, is huge. You have to make plans and want to make plans and work around schedules, and even when it's not easy, when people have full schedules, like, no, I'm going to see you. You know what I mean? So intentionality, I think, is huge in friendship.
I agree. Sort of piggybacking off of that, and something that we talked about, embracing uncomfortable. So particularly and we talked about it in regards to when an uncomfortable word is maybe needing to be said, or a situation, but really I'm thinking in forging friendships. You know, that so many friendships, at least for me, and maybe I'm a weirdo, aren't an instant click. You know, it's not like instantly we feel like we've been best friends for 15 years. It's something that is maybe uncomfortable for a while to try to like get this wheel going and get us knowing each other and all that sort of thing. But embracing, it's going to feel weird for a while. The conversation isn't going to flow real great. We're going to maybe be trying to find things to talk about, or I might feel awkward or whatever. But choosing to just realize that's just going to be the way it is until we've gotten a foundation between the two of us. And then maybe it'll get better, and that'll be wonderful. But I'm going to continue to pursue and be uncomfortable a little bit in this, like, sort of dating period. It's like initial dating period.
I was just my next one was, I was thinking about dating almost like, but like
like dating.
I was like, find a commonality, but like, I mean, to be friends you have to have something in common. And well, is that true, do you think? Some kind of commonality. I think we always
have some things in common. Sure. But you can also be polar opposite people
and still like have a connection too with friends. But well, finding something the other person is interested in, or like, I think it's a part of showing them you care, of like, if they love this thing, ask them about that thing, or you know that they're doing that thing, ask them about that thing. I don't know if that's the same as whatever, but maybe just taking the focus off yourself and putting it onto them, your friend. I
would say pursuing. I think friendships need to be a mutual pursuit of each other, and so not being the one who's expecting somebody else to always make plans, or somebody else to reach out to you, or why is nobody being my friend? Well, maybe because you're not trying to be theirs. So being a pursuer, and I'll save that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I think being you is huge. Just being yourself and not trying to put on a front, because I think people are very attracted to, or like, to be a friend you have to be genuine and sincere, and I don't know that good solid friendships last a whole long time if they're not based in sincerity. And so I think being sincere and genuine in friendships is important. I would say another way to be a good friend is to have people over to your house. I don't think I have any good friends that I've never been to their house. So it's part of just doing life together. Like, we eat together, or we hang out together. We're not always going to just one person's house, or we're not always going out somewhere. There's a bond and an intimacy that happens in friendship when you're doing life in both of your home places that you live. I don't know. It makes it more personal.
It does. It does. And I cannot think of any close friend that I have that I've not been to their house, or like spent time at their home. Hanging out or doing something. So I think that's important for friendship. Have people over. And if you're like, I could never have people over to my home, either because you're too busy or you feel like everything has to be perfect, friends are not looking for perfection. And or if you've got a disaster of a home, maybe that's part of the problem, and you should, I don't know, and you should work on that.
Get a friend who likes to clean. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
or is helpful. That was a joke. I think don't be a bad friend.
Be a user.
I think not being afraid to confront is a way to be a good friend. Someone who's willing to cross that line in love, I think, makes the friendship deeper and more meaningful, rather than the fear is that they'll reject or run away. But I think confrontation and honesty are really big deals in a friendship, because you need a friend that knows you, that's gonna call you out when you're not, and there's still a safety of, we're still gonna have a relationship even when there's conflict.
Don't be a user. I think always seeking out friendships when you're wanting something that's good. Hurtful to other people or frustrating to other people. It's not really going to develop friendships. So not being a user.
Vulnerability would be the other one, I'd say. We've already kind of talked about, but being willing, what we've talked about, being willing to be uncomfortable and be your true self, and trust. I think there's a level of trust to that. They're going to be there, and if they don't, then maybe you're not friends then. Being secure enough to do that. I
think that's right. I think the last thing I can think of is just to be a giver. A giver of your time, of whatever, food, thinking about it in acts of service, or in love languages.
Is that your love language?
Thinking about it in love languages, like, be a giver of that person's love language.
There you go. That's good.
Is a great thing to find in friends.
Love it.
Anything else you would say?
Be a good friend. To be a friend, you got to be friendly. That's what the Bible says.
Right? I was going to say, you had a really great verse.
Be friendly. They make it so simple. It's like, to be a friend, you need to be friendly.
Isn't that amazing? So just
be friendly.
Put on the characteristics of a good friend. And Jesus Nathan talked about in, I think, the first week of this month, that Jesus was a great friend, and there's so much to learn from his example.
Yep.
So thanks for joining me.
I
appreciate it. Hopefully you learned what it looks like to be a great friend, or to maybe not be a great friend, and can make some great friends, or appreciate the great friends that you have from that. So thanks for joining. Hey, thanks for joining us on Marriage by Design. If you were impacted by this video, like it by hitting the thumbs up below. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and once you subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when new episodes release.
Excellent. Also, one of the huge pillars of our show is interactivity between us and you. So we would love you to comment down in the comments below if you have thoughts about this video, or if you have questions or other things you'd like to see considered in the future. In addition, if you'd like, you can email us. That's marriagebydesignpodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram @marriagebydesignpodcast, or you can find us on Facebook by searching Marriage by Design Podcast. Finally, if you want to, you can tweet at us. We do have a Twitter account that is @MarriageXDesign. Thanks, and have a great day.